Yan, we're live. Hello, comics people. Ako si Mel Kasipit and welcome to Indie Comics Podcast Live. Ayan. Medyo na-delay ng few minutes yung ating live stream dahil mabagal ang internet. November 5, kung hindi nyo pa nababalitaan, sabi nila babagal daw yung internet. And parang totoo. Ayun. So meron nga akong special guest tonight. Ang gawa niyang comics ay ma-pa-delayed ako doon sa delay na comics anthology from Difference Engine. Si Miss Hansel Dimapilis. Yan. Hansel Dimapilis is a whimsical visual storyteller based in Quezon City. In addition to her creative writing background, she always had a passion for the visual arts, particularly comics. She strongly advocates for more comics in Filipino mainstream media, particularly children's literature. Aside from comics, she likes libraries, suites, and pedestrian lanes. Ayan. So, first question, what about pedestrian lanes, Hansel? Bakit? What about it?
I like kasi, I don't know, hindi sobrang pedestrian friendly ang Pilipinas. Like, yeah. So kapag nakikita ko, yes, mali. Like, alam mo yung the very bright pedestrian lanes na alam mo, ay, bago pa lang. Hindi pa siya na, hindi pa siya na erode, gano'n. So, ang ganda lang, ang sarap lakaran. Like, yes, this is my space. I can walk here. So, yes.
Oo. Ayan. So, sa Philippines so far, saang lugar yung pinaka-favorite mong pedestrian lane?
I mean, in general, mas prefer ko maglakad sa loob ng UP.
Sa UP,
at mapulot. So, topic. To visit. Ayun, sarap yung takad doon.
Ayun. So, ikwento mo nga, Hansel, yung collaboration mo with Difference Engine. Paano mo sila nakilala at paano nagsimula yung collaboration mo with them?
Okay. So, I think it was a couple of years ago, like before pa sa pandemic. They had like a call for submissions, but it was for their yung first anthology po ata nila, yung sound anthology.
Sound, yes.
So there was a call for like Southeast Asian creators na mag-submit ng pitch there. And then, kaka-start ko lang po sa comics. And I tried to pitch. Hindi po ako natanggap, but that was like how I got familiar po with them. And then over the years po, I followed them po on IG, and then I got more familiar po dun sa work nila, sa mga pinoproduce nilang items. And then last year po, I believe, gumawa po sila ng call po for a short comics po, mga one-shots that focus on the theme of delay. And then I tried again yun. So if hindi gumana the first time, try lang ng try. So yun, I submitted for this one, and thankfully naman po natangkap naman po siya for this anthology.
Ayun, congratulations sa sa pagka-publish nung gawa mo. So speaking of dun sa ginawa mo sa delay, yung mapa-delayed ako. Ayan, bago natin yung pag-usapan, bigyan mo kami ng history about your comics journey. Ano yung pinakaunang comics na naalala mo?
First comics journey? I think parang saan ba ako magsisimula? I guess, like, since bata pa kasi, medyo mahilig na ako sa comics. I didn't have access sa books mismo, but I did have access yung sa mga newspapers. Tapos, diba, sa likod nila mayroong mga comics. So, that's how I got first acquainted with it. And then, mas na-expose lang talaga ako sa comics with a K, like local. And, of course, growing up, mas na-expose sa mga manga, yung mga sinishare sa mga social media sites, hanapin mo, wait, anong chapter na to? I have to look for the Ross, ganun. So, and then, it was in college na I more got introduced with comics with a K, and then, syempre, na-inspire ako na parang, ay, wait, kahit pala tayo, kaya natin gumawa natin comics. So, yun, I started joining mga events, so there's Comic-Con, Comic-Con, other smaller events. mas na-expose ako sa mga local creators, found other people na parang, ay wow, sige, let me read more of your work. Let's add them also supported mine. So, yeah, I'm very happy naman po na super, thank you po for all of the creators that nag-create. Since back then, it really, for people who are starting out talaga, it's really nice and very inspiring to see people pursue po yung comics po.
That's true. Ano yung comics na nabasa mo na na-inspire kang gumawa rin ng sarili mong comics?
I think it was in Manila International Book Fair po. So I was just like looking po kasi for like fiction books. And then at that time, pumunta ako dun sa second floor and may signing si Sir Arnold Are dun sa parang open area. And then dun talaga ako na first introduced dun sa parang Filipino graphic novel. Dun mythology class, mayroon sa malaking Sintra board. And I got like so excited lang na parang, ay wow, may pala tayo mga sir nating graphic novels. I got super excited to meet sir. Yeah. And then when I started reading mythology class, sobrang na-inspire lang talaga ako. And then, sabi ko, like, you know what? I'm gonna pursue this. Sobrang fun niya. So, yun. Yun. Aside from, like, mythology class, meron akong sinasabi kong, like, my own personal trinity of Filipino graphic novels that I look up to. So, the first one is yung si Mythology Class by Sir Arnold Are. Then, the second one is Elmer by Sir Jerry Alangilan, R.I.P. And then, the third one is Dead Balagtas by Emiliana Campilan. So, yung tatlong works na yun, I feel like yung mga parang, I can say cornerstones ko in terms of like, not only just like sort of inspire me, but also sort of challenges me na parang, okay, ito yung level ngayon. I wanna try to reach for that level din para sa mga personal works ko. So, yan.
Oo. Grabe, ang gagaling ng mga napili mo ah. Ang nag-introduce sa akin kay Sir Arnold Are, katrabaho ko pa sa call center noon. So, shout out kay Sherwin. Yan, siya yung nag-introduce. Sabi ko, nung binasa ko yung mythology class, sabi ko, grabe, ang galing naman ito, para siyang pelikula.
Diba?
Oo. Sabi ko, ang galing, kaya pala tong gawin ng comics. Kasi nung bandang huli na, para siya ng climax talaga ng pelikula na gustong-gusto mo na lang i-flip para malaman mo kung ano yung susunod.
Super.
Sa go ahead. Sige.
I was so happy na lumabas yung Children of Pathala. Like, yes, I'll see more of them. Ang
galing nung ang kapal, grabe, yung chapter 1 pala ng Children of Bathala, isang ganito na.
Kasi,
so,
pero aside from like mythology class, do you have like other favorite na Arnold Are stuff? Like among his like books. Kasi sa akin, I guess, mythology class introduced me to his works, but in terms of like favorite ko is Andong Agimat.
Oo. Nabili ko yung Andong Agimat sa UP pa. Oo.
Yeah.
Yung original na red cover. Oo. Galing nun. Para ring pelikula na. Sana makagawa din ako ng ganun. Napaka goals talaga. Goals.
Like, something, yun, inspiration, level, yun yung level ngayon, we shall strive for it.
Oo. Baka ganun din ang kailangan natin gawin, yung hindi ka magpapakita sa mga events, tapos paglabas mo, meron kang bagong ganung kakapal na libro.
Ganun pala. Ito yung let's check it. Ganun.
What about sa outside the Philippine comics? May mga influences ka rin for sure. Ano-ano yung mga yun?
I think currently, when I've got like more introduced pa sa outside, of course, there's manga. I love manga, but it was like more of like for fun, but parang more for like for consumption. In terms of like inspiration, currently, I'm really inspired by the works of Kay O'Neill. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. They're a creator of like middle grade graphic novels na parang fantasy, whimsical yung approach. So I really look forward sa mga gawa nila currently. So yan, pina-follow ko yung mga releases nila. Yan. So yeah, si Kay O'Neill. Another one is the super popular one is Tilly Walden. Yun. So, mas like introspective. Super ganda nung pacing niya in terms of like their works. Ang nabasa ko pa lang sa kanya is On a Sunbeam. Pero sobrang, I don't know how they do it, pero parang nakaka 30 pages siya per week. Parang mga isang chapter per week. I don't know how. Tapos traditional. Like, how?
Para siyang mangaka.
Diba?
Pero yung mga mangaka kasi may mga assistants eh. Baka may assistants din siya.
Yun nga, I don't know how they do it. Pero sobrang lodi. Yan, mga recommended reads. Kay Kay O'Neill, I recommend The Moth Keeper. Yun yung current favorite work ko sa kanila. For Tilly Walden, I've only read On a Sunbeam, pero alam kong one of their like most famous works is Spinning. Yun, as autobiographical work naman yun.
Okay. Bigyan mo kami ng yung discography ng iyong mga gawa from start hanggang sa ginawa mo ngayon. Ano yung pinakauna mong ginawa at ano yung pinaka-latest mong ginagawa?
Pinakauna kong gawa was, isip ko tuloy, wait. I was in grade 4. Bumalik talaga sa una. I was in grade 4. Tapos, there was like this comics I made. Tawag ko sa kanya Disaster Ball. Kasi it's just about me and my classmates shenanigans. So there was like that one. And then, yung parang medyo sineryoso ko naman na, yung parang, yung back sa college. The first one, I believe, was, it was, I'm not sure if nakita to na iba. It's called Tara. It was a surrealist Filipino one-shot about adulting. Yun, kasi back in college. So, it's, Tara, it's about adulting. Medyo may pagka-horror siya. So, that was the first one. The second one was called Not Today. It was a work naman that tackles mental health. Yan. So, that was like the second one. Technically, third one. Yan. Tapos, yung sumunod is, ito na yung nag-take na ako ng mga classes. Parang, you know what? Parang gusto ko mag-level up. So, for the next one was, I made it under yung Comic-Con workshop. So, I joined that one. And then, I produced Lone Cats under yung workshop na yun. So, na-release ko siya dun sa Indicat that year. And then, the next one was called Smile. This was made naman under yung Comic-Con workshop. So, like, lahat na
masipag kang mag-workshop ha.
Yeah, like, at that time kasi, diba, there's like not really a lot of places where you can, I had to create for a bit of context po kasi. Yung background ko po in college po was creative writing. So, and at that time, wala pa po kasi kaming mga classes po that focus solely on comics. So, it was very difficult to find like materials or like, I guess parang guidance on what to do, like how to make your own comics para mas maging, I guess parang ma-level up, diba, sa paggawa. And I was also like quite new po sa community noon. Wala pa ako mga ka-friends na parang, uy, paano to gawin? Mayroon ba kayong tips or like any like other mentorship opportunities as someone who was new to the community. So yung mindset ko was, okay, I'm not quite sure what to do. So I'll just like join classes wherein I know I can learn from people na marunong dun sa field nila. So I joined the Comic-Con workshop. I also joined yung Comic-Con. Sa Comic-Con naman, I released yung Smile naman. And tapos, very thankful, nanalo siya nung Comic-Con Award back in 2020. So, that's Smile.
Oh, congrats.
Yun. Salamat po. And then, pagkatapos ng Smile, I believe it was Enchantment. I'm not sure if nakita na po siya. It's a manga style na ginawa ko po nung pandemic because it was a submission po siya dun sa there was like a big thing back then na parang Osamu Tezuka International Contest or something wherein like creators all over the world were like encouraged to submit their manga dun sa site nila. So, yun, si Enchantment, product siya nung hinahabol ko yung deadline nun because I really wanted to like try. Again, as I said earlier, try lang ng try. You don't know where it may lead you. And then after nung Enchantment, I landed yung gig ko po sa maging illustrator for Spirit Sprints. And then after that was finished po, I released, ito po, sa side na to, si On Being Quiet. And then recently po, oh shucks, nawala. I think nawala siya. Nawala ba po? Yan. Okay. And then recently po, I'm currently, na-release ko naman po yung Fishing Stars this year. It's under yung 10th anniversary anthology po ni Comiket. And currently po, I'm working on 2 titles. One po is, ito po, si Gemma and the Giant Owl. And the other one po is called Starscaping.
Yeah. Para makita yung yung malaking cover art. Yan.
Okay. So, ito yung work in progress. Ito po, tapos na.
Yan. On Being Quiet and Gemma, the Giant Owl. Ayan. So, masasabi mo ba na malaking tulong yung mga workshops para mag-progress yung level of comics skills mo? Sulit naman yung mga ganong workshops.
For me po, aside from like just, like learning new skills, and I guess yung mindset, iba kasi like for example, when you're like doing something more for a hobby and like try to take it more seriously. So I think yung na-introduce sa akin is like ito yung mga possibilities na kaya mong gawin. And I think it was helpful for me personally po kasi di po ako masyado ma-online. So, I feel like it's possible kasi to like learn from like other people na nagpo-post po. They like show their process, ganun. Pero, yun nga po, if you're like me na hindi masyadong ma-online, mas madali matuto if you're like, listening to people in person or like on the field mismo. So, I would recommend po. And also, of course, it also parang naibigyan ka agad ng introduction sa community. You get to learn the people, you get to like learn also from them, di ba, support their works. So, yun naman po yung mga perks po.
Saka malaking bagay na matuto sa pagko-comics kung lagi ka talagang gumagawa eh. Hindi yung puro theory lang. Marami ng tutorial online sa YouTube, ganyan.
True.
Or sa mga libro. Pero kung hindi mo siya i-apply, wala din.
Sa experience ko talaga, best teacher is, bawal ko kasi na. But like, the best teacher for me was actually making yung comics. For context pa, I also studied comics kasi. Like, na-convince namin yung department namin bukas ng comics class. So, yun.
Wow.
When back in college, ginawa namin yung specialty course. Kasi during that time, there were like a lot of us dun sa batch namin who really wanted to learn more about it. So, yun. So,
malaking bagay yun kung magsisimula sa college yung learning ng comics.
Yeah.
Mas maganda nga kung high school.
Honestly, I feel ko dapat palang may introduction doon na parang, okay guys, ito yung mga comiceros natin. This is our literature. Kaya nga, di ba siya nasama doon sa, currently din sa Frankfurt. So, nasama siya doon. Dapat lang because comics is literature po. Yun. My personal stance on it, let me be clear, comics po is it's literary.
Mm-hmm. Kung ang children's book ay literature, comics ay literature din. Shoutout tayo kay Milo Galang. Hello, comics people. Okay. Ayan. Ayun. So, yun yung mga ginawa mong comics, Hans. So, let's talk about yung sa naman, yung ginawa mo for Delay Comics Anthology. Yung Delayed ako. True story ba yun? O siya? Parang fiction? Or loosely based sa true story?
Mga loosely based po siya. I think kasi when I guess parang bagong graduate. When I hear of delay, the first thing I think of talaga is, na-delay sa pag-graduate. So, that's like the first thing I would think of. And during that time po kasi, I don't know, parang you hear a lot of stories wherein people, how do you say this? I'm trying to like find yung right words. Diba, when you just like graduated and you're kind of like hear yung mga stories ng tipo, alam mo yung mga rumors na rinig mo na parang, alam mo ba nangyari to dito or ginawa niya to or something along those lines. And parang like super common for me yung narinig ko na, shucks, I'll have to get delayed this year. And I guess for a lot of people who are expecting na, shucks, goal ko sana talaga was to graduate on time. And sobrang laki nung, there was like a crushing pressure in sort of sharing that dun sa family nila. So, mostly kung like this, I'm gonna try harder. Baka ma-salvage ko pa, ganun. Yun. So, or like, yung mga lens that people would go to sort of like hide that fact muna. There parang mga news of people trying to hide it pa, di ba? Or they sometimes try to hide it for like up to a year. Before actually, alam mo yung nabunyag sila siya, parang nalaman is eventually because inevitably they will find out. So, yun yung parang naging inspiration ko dun sa paggawa ng story. Hopefully naman na-encapsulate siya sa title. Parang mapa, nagtili po ko.
Pero, sorry yung nung una kong narinig yung title, akala ko yung mapa delayed ako, delayed sa period.
Wait.
Hindi ko naisip na delayed na gagraduate. So,
baka interesting though. Parang, let's say, I haven't like heard it. I already went through the book kasi. So, parang so far, hindi pa yun na-explore, di ba? Baka magkaroon ng volume 2. Something to like...
Yun talaga yung una kong naisip. Pero, baka ako lang yun. Yung iba, okay, sa college. College.
I think that's like a good point though. Kasi sa akin, I didn't cross my mind. Ngayon ko lang siya na-release, parang, no. There is like the cost to parang delay sa period. So that means baka, merong family member, ganun. So, that's like very interesting. Thank you for sharing.
So, para sa mga hindi pa nakakabasa ng comics or kung gusto niyo mabasa, bili kayo ng delayed delay na comics anthology ng Difference Engine. Shout out kay Miss Olivia kasi siya yung nag-connect sa mga creators ng comics. So, ito yung story ng tong bida natin, tapos hindi siya gagraduate kasi may mga bagsak siya. Pero supposed to be matalino siya, 'di ba, nung matalino siyang student pero may mga bagsak. Paano mo to inisip yung narrative niya? Kasi meron siyang parang ganito yung maliit na yung parang buto lang tapos palaki siya ng palaki the more she lies about the yung hindi siya gagraduate. Paano mo siya naisip yung ganung klaseng concept? May mga inspiration ka bang para siya kasing representation ng lies niya, 'di ba? Tapos pabigat ng pabigat habang naglalay siya.
Yung the way I thought kasi like, I call it the bean. So para siyang bean na palaki ng palaki, essentially. I think kasi one of the perks of working with comics is that it's a visual medium. And when you're tackling a story about mental health, yung one of like the key challenges is how to maximize yung pagka-visual niya, diba? So there was like a thought of, so how do I show this sort of like growing pressure as yung number of lies niya essentially like increase over the story. So, and then naisip ko is, since the anthology would be in black and white, I wanted to like depict yung darkness associated with the pressure. So, sinisip ko, I'll just make na parang mukha siyang bean or like literally slime na sort of like crawling over you, nagkakaroon ng icky na feeling. Kasi yun yung nararamdaman niya. She feels like parang like crushing weight over her. And also, inisip ko is medyo madali drawing yung parang bean shape. So there is also like a more like practical approach to it. Kasi I could have like gone with like a couple of things, diba? But for me, I just went with the bean, the blob. Di pala bean, blob that was like growing over the course ng story.
Nung binasa ko yung short story mo, nararamdaman ko din yung bakit hindi mo na lang bakit kasi lie ka ng lie? Yun yung naramdaman ko Tapos nung biglang wala na siyang choice, kailangan niyang sabihin kasi nga out of hand na talagang may confrontation, ramdam mo yung tension. Paano mo siya yung part na yun naisip? Kasi mahirap ding mag-isip ng ganun yung confrontation scene na medyo intense?
Yung confrontation scene, that's actually one of the parts na medyo nahihirapan ako to like think of. Kasi diba, like, I guess, if we're going to like base it on like Filipino media, pag confrontation scene, like, maraming sigawan, like, like, you know, it's like very visceral.
OA,
like,
medyo OA na
parang, parang like, again, parang it's like yung one of the go-tos ng telenovela na it's like lots of energy.
Over the top.
Yeah. It's like, buying a cinema, it's like theater, diba? The theater ng drama and such. But for this one, I opted na parang to make it quiet so that it would be up to the reader na to see how that confrontation would go out. For me personally, dun sa confrontation part with her parents, I took a lot of inspiration dun sa yung gawa ni Renren, yung sa Wala. There's like a specific part there that I really liked. Yung, I think it was when first na nagsabong yung manok. Tapos, she nakaslant yung panels and it was like divided by spreads. So, nagbi-build up yung tension over time. For me, I didn't have, kasi limited lang yung pages na allotted sa amin, diba? So, for me, I just decided to maximize kung ano yung given space and I just used the spread part. So, yun. Happy mo na nagkasya na.
Oo, kasi yung confrontation scene talaga, nai-imagine ko na mangyayari siya sa totoong buhay. Hindi siya yung katulad ng OA na hindi, I don't think that will happen in real life. Talagang nakikita ko na parang ganito yung mangyayari na yung father talagang nagalit, yung mother tahimik, ganyan. So, medyo realistic yung yung nangyaring yun. So, kung gusto nyong mabasa, bili kayo ng libro. Shout out tayo sa mga nanonood. Gerald Dorado, yan, comics man. Si Miss Bambi, yan. Heya Hansel.
Hello.
Yan. Si Jermaine, Choknat-san, Idol Hans.
Hi. Hello, ate.
Ayan. So, bago pa tayo mag-proceed, kailangan pag-usapan na natin yung elephant in the room. Yung Hansel ba ay dahil sa biskwit?
Hindi. Actually, it's derived from my nickname, which is Hans. So, kailangan ko ng pen name. So, like, sige, gamitin natin na yung nickname. From the, so, from Hans, naging Hansel na lang. Tapos, ginagamit ko siyang pen name ngayon. Hindi naman siya derived sa biscuit. Nauna yung Hansel before I found out I'm ng biscuit na gano'n.
Oo. Parang si Jermaine, ang ano niya, Choknat. Yeah. Okay. So, saan namin pwedeng makita yung mga iba mong works? Saan siya pwedeng mabili? 'Di ba, marami ka nang ginawa over the years, tapos yung mga nasa likod mo. Ayan, saan siya pwedeng mabili?
I usually go to events po. For this month, I would be in Baguio po this weekend. I will be there for patrons of the Arts Baguio Winters. I'll be bringing my comics po with me. And then the other event I have po this month is Sapas Comic-Ed po, which should be held in Mega Mall, SM Mega Mall. So yun po yung mga susunod na events ko.
Ayan.
Pero po yung mga ibang stories ko po medyo out of print na po sila. So pero yung mga iba, yung mga latest works ko na popular po.
Oo. May mga katulad ni Jello na talagang kinokollect lahat. Kahit na hindi na in print, binibili niya from other collectors na nakabili noon. So, any chance na i-reprint mo yung mga mas luma mong gawa o ayaw mo na kasi mas gusto mong yung bago na lang yung bilhin?
I guess kasi parang, alam mo yung, how do you say this? Like yung mga first comics mo na hindi pa sila super polished. So parang medyo nahihiya ka pa ilabas. Like, oh no, parang hindi pa ganun katama yung pacing niya. I'm kind of ashamed to like put it out for now. Pero siguro like once I like release a book for like people, maybe parang like once enough interest in showing po like the first works, baka may labas ko sila.
Isa ako sa mga creators na mas gusto kong gumawa ng mga short stories kasi nga mahirap mag-maintain ng series. Ano yung approach
True.
mo sa paggawa ng short story? Gaano ka katagal mag-conceptualize ng story? Tapos,
Mhm.
from brainstorming, writing, thumbnail, sketch, ink, and color kung may color, gaano siya katagal roughly?
For me, sa experience ko, the part that takes the longest really is yung writing, yung conceptualization sa kanya. Kasi kapag hindi pa hinug yung story, you can't really force it sa experience ko. Unless you're like going back and forth with, like, for example, an editor or like a friend na siguro you're both creators, so kaya mag-bounce ng ideas. So, that's for me. Like, sa akin, madali na yung pag-drawing. Pero yung conceptualization yung medyo mahirap na i-explore na part. In terms naman of like how fast, depende yun. Like, ang question is, gaano ba ka-available? Like, kaya ba ng schedule? I guess yung fastest ko in terms of like drawing is it's in black and white. Ice was Enchantment. That's around, it's around like 60 pages or like 60 pages, mga 1 month ko siya ginawa. Tapos, in terms naman, so in terms naman of like colored, I guess pinakamabilis na yung On Being Quiet, but I had help with it. I had to like get some friends to like become flatters para at least I don't focus too much on like filling up yung mga shapes.
Mabilis yun yung 60 pages sa 1 month, mabilis yun.
That was like the pandemic. I don't know kung yung sumanib sa akin during that time. Pero like medyo gigil ako nun. Yeah, so I really wanted...
Sabagay, nasa bahay lang nun eh.
Yeah. And I think there was also like a part of me na parang I really wanted to like prove myself as a creator na parang, kaya ko nang gumawa ng ganong klaseng mga comics. I mean, parang, like, there's like a lot of grit to sort of like I wanted to prove myself na I could create better works. And also to sort of not just like in terms of like story, but also in terms of like technical na parang pag-drawing, paneling. That's yung mga technical skills associated with those. Yeah. So I guess if people would see yung mga first works ko, I think there was really a jump pagdating sa Enchantment. Kasi yun talaga yung I really wanted to push myself. Kasi para siya sa contest. Yun. So, kapag contest, minsan talaga na-encourage na mag-improve. You have to put my best foot forward kasi contest.
Ano yung you mentioned na magandang motivation yung contest at deadline para sa mag-improve ng gawa. Saan ka kumukuha ng inspiration na, okay, kailangan kong i-improve. So, ano yung ginagawa mo para mag-improve? Do you watch videos? Do you read books? Do you read more comics? Ganyan?
Wait. Is it in terms of, to clarify lang yung question, is it in terms of parang finding inspiration or is it more of like motivate myself to work on my project?
Yes.
Kasi
para mas ma-improve pa yung gawa mong comics.
I guess like read a lot of books. Yung ma-recommend ko. Kasi it's like when you get exposed to other stories and other creators, talagang how do you say this? I guess how I would compare it, diba, nung bata ako, I mostly read comic strips. So for me, since I felt, keyword is felt, na parang, okay, medyo similar na yung art style nila, na parang it was good enough. But when I got exposed to other works dito, when I got in college, parang, okay, there are other comics pala that are available. And most importantly, when I saw fellow Filipino creators producing yung mga works nila, na-realize ko, okay, so there are like levels pala na I could strive for, that I could help like improve my work. So, kapag, again, so like just realizing parang, yes, I want to be like them. I want to also strive for those heights. And again, as medyo baguhan, I really wanted to like prove myself na parang, kaya ko rin yan. I can also do it when it's like when the door closes, try lang ng try. Yun yung naging mindset essentially.
Ano yung pinaka nung na-discover mo na okay, dahil dito bumilis yung paggawa ko ng comics or mas nag-improve yung paggawa ko ng comics? Ano yung bagay na yon or lesson na yon or video or passage na nakita mo?
I guess going back na lang din to what I said earlier. Yung best teacher talaga for I guess for creators is, I mean, I wouldn't say to just making comics. I think the best experience really is just
The best
creating,
teacher.
the act of creating. Because not only will you sort of get used to parang magkakaroon ng muscle memory in terms of drawing lines, but na optimize mo rin yung workflow mo. So you already know which brushes to use, you already have a template for the pages, alam mo na yung mga ka-cover mo sa bleeds, yung mga spacing, yung mga gutters and such. So I think once you get into that workflow kasi, it becomes easier essentially to work. That's why I was able to say earlier that for me, the longest time talaga, the part that takes the longest time is yung writing process. Pero yung, I feel, on my end naman, I feel like I've already sort of gotten quite used na in terms of workflow. Yung writing na talaga yung hindi pwede ma-hurry.
Oo, yun yung hindi mo pwedeng ipilit yung okay, uupo ako and then mag-iisip ako ng story. Hindi siya ganun eh.
Yeah.
Minsan yung story na inspiration, pupunta lang siya sa mga random moments. Matutulog ka, pagkagising mo, habang nagko-commute, doon mo maiisip yung mga bright ideas for a story. Pero yung pagdodrawing, pwede kang umupo and then mag-drawing ka na kaagad eh. You spoke about workflow. Ano yung workflow mo kapag gumagawa ng comics? How does your day look like?
Okay. How does my day look like in terms of making comics? I mean, I guess yung flow ko.
Ano yung workflow mo kapag halimbawa, tatapusin mo na itong delayed ako. Okay, meron akong deadline. Ano yung plan mo for the week? Nagdo-drawing ka ba every day or ganyan?
My general rule in terms of drawing is that I have to allot one day a week na hindi ako magdo-drawing. Kasi for context, I have a thumb tendonitis dito sa right hand ko. So if I overwork it, mas sumasakit lang siya and mas mabagal lang ako mag-drawing. So mindset ko is the rest is also part ng workflow. You also have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of your hand, your tools, diba? You have to parang set aside time na magpahinga din siya to also recuperate. The other one is, and tutunan ko to kay Kong, is dapat kailangan mag-stretch muna. Medyo kailangan mong i-warm up yung arms mo, katawan mo before you draw. Para at least you're ready. Kasi, I guess, parang, there is a lot of physicality to it yung pag-drawing. It's not necessarily just parang sitting down, diba? Gumagalaw yung kamay mo, and you also have to have yung mga proper postures and such movements, just to ensure na your repeated motions won't result in lasting damage. Para mag-accumulate yung damage over time. In terms naman of making yung comics mismo, yung process ko personally is I'm a script first, and then gagawa ko ng thumbnails, and then gagawa ko ng sketches, and then detailed sketches. I create my pages per stage, so dapat lahat thumbnails muna, lahat sketches muna, then detailed sketches, then line art, then coloring. There are some people kasi who prefer to do it page by page. Mas gusto nila yung ganung klaseng flow kasi na-encourage sila once they see na, okay, natapos ko na tong pages na to. Or okay, I've already finished 10 pages, only 10 more to go. So they become more encouraged when they see how far they've come. But for me personally, I do a stage by stage kasi napansin ko na I work faster since nasanay na ako dun sa, for example, when I'm doing line art. Yung first few pages usually yung pinakamahirap sa akin because I'm still getting into the flow nung parang gagamitin ng pag-line art sa story and such. I'm still deciding kung anong style ba yung gagamitin ko to approach the story. But once that has already settled in, mas madali na for me to apply that to the rest of the pages. That's why, mas gusto ko yung stage by stage na process in terms of working. Mas pinaka-last of course, is yung letter. Hindi, actually, yung unang lettering, yeah. Like, kasama na siya sa thumbnails and sketches. Dapat kasi consider siya dun sa pag-layout.
Oo. Kailangan yung text part siya ng layout eh. Hindi pwedeng may natatakpang bigla yung mata kasi sobrang daming text.
I mean, I feel like I learned that late. So, das na-realize ko na dun sa pag-sketch, dapat kasama na yung lettering dun sa sketch, dun sa thumbnail face, parang at least I know yung flow ng story, pag-flow ng mata. So that was like something talaga to consider.
Trial and error din ako na noon na matutong mag-comics. So, okay to, mali. So, next time, iba yung approach. Traditional and digital, magkaiba nga yung approach eh. So, speaking of traditional and digital, nag-traditional ka ba o digital o mix of both?
The only traditional na I have is Smile. Yun lang yung nagawan ko ng line art because I had like the time to work on it. But it is something that I do want to explore. I guess kasi medyo na-inspire ako sa kanya because a lot of the comic creators na I follow also have done traditional works. And I do think na there's like also, pero alam ko iba yung workflow sa kanya when you're like doing traditional. And also, medyo, I don't know why, pero parang kapag digital, sige, madali lang naman i-erase. I can like put it on another layer. So, parang I feel like yung level of, parang, I guess, room for mistakes ko is like, okay, I can make madali lang siya i-adjust. Pero, again, natakot ako sa traditional because, again, it's just like on one paper. Kapag nagkamali ka, it's difficult. You're going to consume resources essentially to like cover that up. But on the other hand though, yung maganda sa kanya is, sa traditional, is that since there's like less room for mistakes, you also become more intentional doon sa paggawa mo ng story. So there's like less, alam mo yung parang, how do you say this? Like less...
accountability. Kailangan pag ginanon mo, okay, yan na yun. Wala nang undo.
Alam mo yung less na, how do you say this? Kasi di ba kapag digital, like, you just like keep trying, tapos mag-undo ko lang habang hindi pa perfect yung line, so to speak. Pero kapag sa traditional, since you only have sort of like one shot, may quote-unquote one shot ka lang, you become more intentional with it. So, ganun. I guess, like in that sense naman, paggawa.
Iba rin yung traditional kasi meron kang original art na okay, this is original 1:1, pwede ko tong ibenta kung gusto ko. Kapag digital, wala kang original. Meron kang first printing siguro, but that's not the same as original art na talagang in-sketch mo.
Medyo iba nga yung feeling when you can actually see the pages for itself. I think the first time that happened for me was sa Comic-Con. Nakita ko yung mga original pages ng Melag and I got mind blown. Like, oh my gosh, ang ganda niyan! It's like, you're like seeing the pages again for the first time kapag nakita mo siya in original form. I do wish na I have like more time for it. Pero I guess like in terms of like just, like in terms of availability ng time, di ko pa siya nagawa. But I would like to try something.
Ang ko dyan, yung kapag personal art, pero actually kahit ngayon hindi ko na nagagawa eh. Pero noon, ang approach ko, kapag personal kong comics at personal art, traditional, kapag commission, digital kasi mas mabilis. Ngayon, lahat digital na eh. Bihira na lang akong traditional, pero ngayong panahon ng AI, parang mas mabigat yung value ng original art kasi yun nga, hindi siya kayang gawin.
I show it na parang this is a physical thing na I drew. Every line that I drew on this one is like made with and time and sweat. So that is like something good to point out na in like in a world na sort of, di ba, parang medyo maraming AI slop and such. It's like constant generation of digital work. Something like physical that was done, na meron siyang like sort of physical na labas. Parang mas naging valuable siya.
True.
Medyo napapansin ko siya. Like, a lot of creators I noticed are parang trying their hand more on traditional works. I mean, from those types. Pero kapag trabaho, digital like, due na to tomorrow, I'm gonna do digital.
Yeah, kapag may deadline tapos very super rush job,
Yeah.
wala nang ano yan, isip-isip, digital na yan. Kasi mas mabilis eh.
Ay, sige, kaya mo yung PSD file. Here you go.
Oo. Mas madaling mag-correct, ganyan. Pero yan, kapag walang pressure sa deadline, mas try natin yung traditional din. Hans, what about comics? Bakit mahal mo yung medium ng comics? At kahit na hindi naman kalakihan yung kinikita natin, at kung kasikatan, hindi mo siya makukuha kaagad. Pwede kang sumikat, pwedeng hindi ka mapansin until kahit na marami ka nang nagawa. Pero bakit gustong-gusto mo yung medium ng comics?
Honestly, it's like, diba, like, there's a lot of interviews that have sort of asked that question. And I have answered it in like multiple ways, like in different times. I think yung usually in answer ko was that it's because I have to. And at that point, I don't think na I was able to articulate clearly on why do I feel like I have to. Parang, I guess, like, after, hearing the question sort of multiple times, and also from me answering that in that way multiple times. For me, I think kasi it's the medium that works best with my storytelling. I realize ko. I would call saan ko ba itong narinig? Where there's like, merong komikero na he called himself a storyteller first before he became an artist. I think, hindi ko lang maalala kung sino, pero I think that really struck with me. And I think I can relate to that at a deeper level, I guess. Kasi, again, my background was creative writing. I actually started with short story writing, and then I transitioned into comics. So I guess like in some level, there was just a part of me that loved telling stories. Pero since I also love visual arts, kaya I naturally gravitated toward comics. Yeah, so I guess that's why when people say, why comics? It's the storytelling, it's the medium that works best with my storytelling. So yeah, and there's like so much fun, like there's like a lot of room kasi din for play, at least for me. I really like na there's so many things that you can do in terms of like playing around with yung relationships between yung text and yung visuals in a comic. There's also possible to like add note text, diba? So I just really like enjoy it as a storytelling medium.
Pwede kang maglaro sa medium ng comics. Pwede mong simplihan na box text, word balloon lang. Tapos pwede mo rin siyang laruin yung layout, di ba? Pwede mong paikutin yung mata ng reader, ganyan.
Yeah. It's also like...
Sige, go ahead.
Also quite applicable in literary works naman, particularly poetry. I'm not sure if you've seen poetry na parang pinaglaruan nila yung layout and such. I guess just in my case, as someone who grew up with manga and anime and Ghibli movies, I guess mas nag-gravitate lang talaga ako toward the visual medium. Sorry, yung question mo earlier, sorry.
Nakalimutan ko na.
Asa na yung train of thought?
Ayun. Sa mga nabasa mong comics, sino yung gustong-gusto mong mag-layout ng page? Na hindi conventional yung paggawa niya ng layout ng page. Ako, ang naiisip ko right now si Mang Alex Nino.
Oh yeah.
Kung familiar ka dun sa mga gawa niya, sabi ko, grabe to, pang advanced to. Hindi to mababasa ng mga taong hindi nagbabasa ng comics kasi hindi nila alam kung saan sila titingin.
Yeah, I feel like kasi di ba there are like levels? Like some people read from like panel to panel. I guess for more like professional, mas inisip natin na page to page and spreads. But I feel like kasi si Sir Alex Nino, he's like spreads in terms of like being laid out as like a whole artwork. And you're like, how? I felt, akala ko, yung level natin is just like yung spreads or like yung, alam mo yung mga foldable spreads na you can like fold them out. Meron pa palang upper level doon. Meron pa lang, you can like lay out the spreads. Magkakaroon siya ng sarili niyang story. Lodi talaga. Like, sobrang na mind-blown ako when I first like realized.
Ibang klase yun. Nakita ko na yung original art nun kay Sir J. Ignacio. Pinakita niya yung original art. Sabi ko, ibang-iba yung original art kesa dun sa printed.
Mm-mm.
Kitang-kita mo yung texture ng paint na ginamit, ganyan, yung pitik ng kamay. Iba, kaya nga iba yung original art talaga na Pati yung rin original art ni Cochin, Francisco V. Cochin. Nakakita ako ng original art niya sa National Museum. Sabi ko, grabe, ang galing nung pitik ng kamay. Tapos may mga lines siya na hindi nakikita sa printed page. May mga sobrang maninipis na stroke ng brush and pen na hindi nakikita sa final printed. Pero nakikita mo sa original art. Ang ganda-ganda.
Yeah. I think iba talaga once you actually see yung item for itself. I guess not everything talaga kasi can be captured like sa printing. Kasi 'di ba, there's yung parang gap between yung original art and then yung camera. So depende pa yung quality ng picture based sa camera, pero iba pa yung actually translating yung picture for print. Kasi very limited, especially sa Pilipinas, medyo limited yung mga, I guess, yung mga printing options natin Minsan kasi like diba, kukuha ko ng mga comics from like yung mga comics were published overseas. So, minsan, kino-compare ko yung papel, pati yung color quality. Minsan talaga, it's different. Depending dun sa where it's printed.
Hindi ko alam kung anong nangyari sa printing dito sa Pilipinas Kasi may nakita akong old print ng comics noon. Magazine or kanyan. Ang ganda ng printing, talagang nakukuha yung fine lines. Luma siya, mga 50s siguro. Pero yung mga yung mga later na 80s, 90s, hindi na ganun kaganda, pati yung papel parang tinipid na. Pero ayun. Shout out kay RH Kilantang. Hi guys. Ayan.
Maybe kasi it's really medyo dun sa like that insight that you heard earlier. I mean, medyo speculation tanto, but maybe it's also because it's connected dun sa, I guess, medyo bumaba na din yung readership as like TV became more accessible. Diba? So, instead of like, how do you say this? People invest in the things that they care about. So, maybe during that time na parang mas na-shift yung attention towards other forms of media. Baka hindi na masyado nabigyan ng pansin yung maybe siguro yung print. Maybe not everyone cares about it as much. I mean, pero yun nga, maybe just like a theory though. Baka naghaka-haka lang naman siya on my end.
Oh, that's to lang parang theory lang natin kasi ako may mga theories din, pero bakit sa Japan hanggang ngayon sikat pa rin ang comics? Sa Pilipinas sikat yung comics noon, pero ngayon hindi na gaano. Well, may community tayo ng comics, but hindi siya as popular compared to sa Japan or siguro sa US. Mas maraming imprenta doon ng comics. So mas maganda siguro makakausap tayo ng yung talagang old comics people, kaya mga editors noon na nagpo-publish para malaman natin ano talaga yung nangyari. Yeah. Knowing what you sorry?
It's like a very like common question. Yun yung pag-uusapan talaga like in terms
Kasi hindi ako naniniwalang parang nawala siya ng ganun lang. Alam ko hindi na siya sumikat dahil sa popular media. Pero sikat na sikat talaga kasi yung comics na hindi siya basta-basta mawawala ng ganun lang.
At least we can be, we are like, how do I say this? At least we're sure naman na hindi naman nawala sa atin because we are here. Diba? May pwede magawa sa comics.
What do you think about the state of comics ngayong 2025?
Honestly, I'm not sure kasi if may bias lang ako because I'm surrounded by comics people, but I feel like more people are like getting into comics. I guess kasi nag-iba na rin yung definition. Kasi at least for me, when I think of comics, inisip ko agad is printed work. But now there's like other avenues like webtoons. There's also yung daily comic strips, diba? So, lumawak siya essentially. And I wanna think na like na parang lumiliit yung community. I just wanna think that they've expanded elsewhere. Yeah. So parang, and for me to see that, so sort of like see that expansion, I also have to sort of engage then with these other like comics formats. So yun yung naman naisip ko dun. So it's exciting, super happy na there's like a lot of people who are also like working on it full time. Because diba, I guess siguro there was a time kasi naisip natin na okay, to be like sort of successful at comics, kailangan sumali ka like sa DC, sa Marvel, ganun, kailangan maging artist ka doon or something. Pero now I'm like super happy na there's like other avenues that people can sort of explore and tap or like tap into and sort of like make a livelihood out of it, diba? So, yun, I'm happy nag-expand na yung definition of like comic, making a livelihood out.
Yeah. Parami yung mga comics creators. Pabata ng pabata actually. May mga nakikita ko na webtoon creators na sikat sa webtoon pero hindi masyadong sikat sa local community. Ano.
Parang they really I guess kasi these are like creators who already sort of stepped into a global stage. So they're not just like catering sa local readers. They just realize that the readership is like, all over
elsewhere. Yung humor nila pang ibang bansa. Actually, ganun actually talaga kasi siguro lumaki sila sa Cartoon Network.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel
anime. Siyempre yung magagawa nila kung ganun din.
I feel like kasi this is the generation that grew up with social media. They've been exposed to works that are made by international creators, and they suddenly also have access, diba? They have the ability to share their works din. So hindi na sila limited by regions or parang kung saan lang print ng isang story because just by posting on social media, makikita na siya, kaya na siya makita ng ibang bansa. So I'm very happy na at least they took advantage of that sort of like in terms of accessibility. So like, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yan ang bilis ng oras and ang dami nating napag-usapan na napaka-interesting. Final question. Bakit kaya relevant pa rin ang comics ngayong 2025 kahit na marami ng other entertainment modes tayong pwede, movies, ganyan, books. Bakit relevant pa rin ang comics?
Wait, I'm trying to like think of iniisip ko kasi if I should answer na parang academic approach or a personal approach. Okay, so I'll answer na lang in those two fronts. So in terms of like parang why comics, there's this like really good reference book that comic creators may want to explore. It's called, title niya talaga is literally Why Comics by Hilary Shute. So it's like a very in-depth discussion on like why is comics like technically parang ba siya naging relevant today. And one of the points there that was like really expounded on that I really liked was its ability to sort of like depict certain topics in like a limited space wherein you can see all panels together and you can like see them as one panel and you can also see it as a whole. So it has meron siyang ability to sort of layer moments in time while also like expanding it. Basta I don't think I can properly articulate, but yun nga, like properly explain it. But it has abilities wherein it's not necessarily, it's a medium in its own right with its own sort of like hindi ko talaga mahanap yung right words, pasensya.
Okay lang, okay lang. Parang nai-imagine ko naman yung gusto mong sabihin na
Hindi ko lang ng maayos. But yun nga,
kayang sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for people who are interested, I do recommend that book.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos naman for me, na I guess like personally, and why comics still relevant. I don't know, because people still enjoy it. And as long as there are readers, it will continue to become relevant. People continue to enjoy it. So that's just for me. And yeah, I guess yung pinaka-fun sa kanya is you can do it by yourself. It's so accessible. I love it. Diba? Kasi, for example, kapag it's a visual medium that allows you to sort of like be as creative as possible. For example, kasi with like, for example, movies, TV shows, you're minsan limited ka by the budget or like you have to like work with other people. At least with like comics, you have like so much control over what can you like produce on the page. Literally, your imagination is the limit. So like, yun yung mga perks naman.
Oo. Yung kung gagawa ka ng short film, mahihirapan kang gumawa kung ikaw lang mag-isa. Movies, ganyan.
Yeah,
kung comics, kayang-kaya mo siyang gawin.
Yeah. Also, mas madali din i-reproduce.
Oo. Pwede kang maging wild. Yan. Lalo na ngayon, panahon ng indie comics, independent comics. You are your own boss. Ayan. Okay. Yan, thank you Hansel sa pagpapaunlak sa Indie Comics Podcast today. Saan ka pwedeng i-follow ng mga viewers?
Ang social media handle ko po is @justhanselart.
Ayun. Also, remind ko lang yung mga comics people natin. Ayan. So, bili kayo ng Delay saka ng Sound Anthology. Alam mo ba kung saan siya pwedeng mabili? Meron ba siya sa Comiket Secret HQ?
Alam ko, Comiket buys like in bundles, I think. So, available ata siya sa store. As far as I
Ayun. So, kung gusto nyong makabili, message nyo yung Secret HQ. Alam ko meron Sound doon. Yung Delay, kasi medyo bago-bago pa, baka wala pa. Pero magkakaroon yan. Kasi magkaibigan yata sila yung mga publisher. Si Difference Engine, si...
I think yung mga publishers were present dun sa nung pick-off, I think. Baka mas, siguro, maybe they had like talks na like sharing story novels.
Okay. Kung gusto nyong mapanood yung buong interview ni Hansel at yung iba pa naming na-interview si Sir Miggy Escanio saka si Julius Villanueva at may mga susunod pa sa mga susunod na araw, punta kayo sa Indie Comics Podcast YouTube channel. Thank you, comics people. Bye-bye.